Hello and thanks for stopping by. The end of the summer is finally here, and by this point, I've managed to get to all the different retro stores that I wanted to visit this summer. I even got to one that was slightly out of range. I made a trip of it last week, actually. There's this little retro game store in Vermont called Harry and Lloyd's, and they tend to have a very different pool of games than my local haunts. A lot of the places I've been visiting lately have been picked over, but this particular store that I visited last week was actually pretty great. Anyway, this video is going to wrap up my summer finds, and then I'm going to get to doing a pretty big landslide of reviews, I think. I've got a lot of stuff on my plate, a lot of things I want to get to. I got some requests that I want to get to as well. So we'll get right into it. First, I got a few more of these retro game cases for some of my favorite Nintendo cartridges. These particular carts are from customgames.com. You can find this seller on Etsy, I believe, but you can also find other sellers there. Some charge a ton for this service, but this particular place, customgamecases.com, they all seem to sell the same type of case, same type of graphics, and in this instance, these go for about $5 a piece. Honestly, I don't plan on converting my entire collection, just the games that I consider some of my favorites. These are nice, I think. They protect the cartridges, and they look really nice on a shelf. Here's one of my shelves. I have shelves everywhere, so this is just one of them, and this is where I'm keeping these right now. Anyway, I do this for the games that I'm a fan of. There's no rhyme or reason to what you like sometimes. I know these aren't particularly great games by review standards, but this is what I got so far. Moving on. For the Atari 2600, I found a game called Star Fox. This has no connection to the current Star Fox lineage for Nintendo, I believe. This is basically a Defender clone, it seems. And there are a couple of reviews online. I haven't popped it in yet, but I'm excited to give this one a try. Just something different on the console. I managed to find a couple of Sega Genesis games. I've got a couple here that I thought looked pretty good. First, I got NHL 94. I've played an NHL game in the past. I can't remember what year it was that I had when I was younger, but I did a quick search, and it turns out 94 was considered one of the best for the system, so I thought I would pick this one up. It was a really great price. Found a game called Combat Cars, and first of all, the title sounds great. That sells me alone, but it also had the case with it, and it's nice to get cases for Genesis games. I know a lot of people kept them, but also a lot of people threw them out. So to get a complete copy like this is pretty great. I also found something called Winter Olympic Games. If you've checked out any games on this channel, you've probably seen that I've gone through a bunch of these winter-type games from the company Epix. I went through winter games, I went through summer games, I went through California games, and I did them on multiple systems with different versions. Anyway, I thought it would be good to give it a try for a game from a company that is not Epix. So I picked this one up. Got a couple of PlayStation 3 games, and I have to say, it's still worth going into GameStop and looking for their PlayStation 3 or Xbox 360 racks. They don't tend to have a lot of games, first of all, and a lot of them don't have their original cases. But there are always some that do have their original cases, and those are the ones I go for. I don't care for printed stuff, that garbage that they throw into a regular case. I hate that. But I got a couple here, and I got some really good prices. I managed to get Need for Speed The Run. I know the Need for Speed series has a lot of different games for it, and it's got a lot of fans. I played a few, but this one I think reviewed really well, so I'm happy to give this one a try. I think this one was maybe $1, maybe $2. I got a copy of MotorStorm. I've heard this game before. I don't know if it's any good, but I can't say I have any dirt bike racing games up until this point, so happy to give this one a try. The one game I spent a little more money on, I think it was $15 maybe I paid for it. I got Mortal Kombat versus the DC Universe. I'm a fan of Mortal Kombat, I guess enough, or at least as much as the next guy, but it's the DC characters. It's the insertion of the other properties that kind of interest me, so I'll be curious to give this one a look. I'm pretty sure this was a precursor to the Injustice series. This actually might have been the game that made that game possible. Next, I got a couple of Xbox 360 games. First, I got myself a copy of Saints Row the Third. I thought I had this game, but it turns out it was another Saints Row game. Saints Row the Third is supposed to be really great, so I was happy to get this one at such a good price. I also got a copy of Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Double Agent. I can't say I have a lot of memories of this particular franchise, but they are everywhere. So I figured giving this one a try for just a couple of dollars is a good idea. I was happy to find this one. This is Sniper Elite 3. I have a couple of the sniper games. Honestly, the versions I play, I like to play the zombie sniper games. They have that zombie army game series. They're up to 4 by now. That is sort of from this series. So interesting to give this one a look. It's going to be different, of course, having those zombies, but I'm excited. I like the mechanics of it. I like the way that they go through sniping. I like the way that they've arranged the graphics. It's very clever. I also got a copy of John Woo's Stranglehold. John Woo's a director, and I know when this game came out, it had a lot of fanfare, a lot of hype to it, because people were expecting it to be done like a John Woo movie. Lots of gunfire, lots of crazy stuff happening on screen, and yeah, that works for me. So give this one a go, absolutely. Last thing I found, I got a piece of hardware. I got a PS4 controller. I got a clear purple controller. It was just sitting in the case. And anytime I see a controller for a system that I use, that's at a good price, especially one that's a different color, I'm on board. Scoop this one up. It becomes more difficult down the road. Right now I'm running into a problem with PlayStation 2 controllers. Say you want a PlayStation 2 controller and you go to Amazon. Search for PlayStation 2 controller, and out of the top 10, you're probably going to find more than half that aren't actual branded controllers from the manufacturer. They're from some third party. They might look the same, but they're not going to be the same quality, and I find that that's why they can sell them so cheap. And I don't want to be stuck with an off-brand controller. Eventually, these are going to break. I've got a large enough PS4 collection where I need to ensure that I can play these games for another 10 years, so happy to get this one. Well, that's all I have for the end of the summer wrap-up here. Thank you so much for giving this one a look. I will catch you on another video.